Hello and welcome back. Another week gone already. I can't believe it's starting a new week. It just feel like 2 seconds since I was here last week saying the same thing. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. Just remember, I'll remind you a few times through the week. Sunday, Corbridge. I think somebody said it. Do you know what it is? I booked these tickets for the car show. I haven't even looked up. I believe it's at the rugby club. Don't quote us on that though, but just have a look. It's a Corbridge car show on Sunday. If any of you guys are local, please, I'll be there with the ZX. Come along. If not, Chris, I think, was going to bring the XM. There's a problem with that, but I'm pretty sure he'll be bringing one of these other fantastic cars that you've seen on the shows I've been to. So, start the week there. What I've got in, I'll quickly show you. I've got this Lexus. I think they call these a 4 something. It's like the hybrid one. Basically, there are 3.3 V6 in these. I'll quickly show you. They're a good engine. Like, the only downside to them is they're a timing belt, and they're quite expensive to have done, but I believe this one's already been done. So if you do have one of these engines, just make sure you have the timing belt done on them. And obviously the spark plugs as well down the back, the iridium ones, they're a bit of a pain, but it's only something you do once in a blue moon, so it's not really a big deal. But yeah, these were pretty much not the first generation of hybrids, but you know, one of the first, especially on the lines of this big as well. You know, you don't get many I'm sure it's 3.3 or 3.1, I'm sure it's 3.3 V6 hybrids, and everybody goes, oh, they're pointless, they're a waste of time kind of thing, but they're not, because you can get decent miles per gallon, you can get well over 40 miles per gallon with these things, and I know for a fact I run 3.7 V6s, on a normal, non-assisted hybrid vehicle, you wouldn't get anywhere near that. So yes, it is a bit strange having an eco-friendly engine so big, but when you add this system onto it, it does actually add up to be quite a nice package. But this is roughly based on, of the time, like a RAV4, so a bit bigger. I'm just surprised Toyota never did anything with the RAV4 earlier on, because they only started with the hybrid RAV4s. Later on in production, all the earlier ones that didn't, like when these were being made, they didn't do it, which I'm surprised. I think these were more of a test for the RAV4 and the move from there. But yeah, good system on these. The usual thing with all hybrids of Toyota and Lexus, just keep an eye on these little, what you call donkey batteries, a little tiny battery down there. Even though there's enough power in the main battery pack to run your house, so to speak, if that little battery gets too low, it won't start. So always either carry a booster pack or just make sure you haven't got your lights going, you know. And funny enough, Lexus have actually put that on there. They must have been aware of the fault. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it says, feeling flat, need a boost. Seen that? From me dad. I don't even know if the guy who's got the car, Tim, he's well aware of this. We've been aware of this problem for well over 10, 15 years now. And it's just funny that how they've put that on there. It could just be something to put on all their cars, but Toyota, no, and Lexus. I mean, I keep referring to Toyota. They're the same company, basically, Lexus, Toyota. But yeah, that's something to be aware of. But bar that, they're fantastic. In fact, I quite like this car. If the guy ever decided to sell it and it was something I could afford, it's probably something I would most certainly consider, because for towing as well, it's got a tow bar on. Yeah, that's what they're called, the RX 400H, but this is the limited edition. And Tim will probably, the guy who owns it, will probably be telling us, you haven't said that. What I do know is the backlights are different, the LED. And I do realise that there was something different at the front on the headlights. They're like a bluey kind of tinge in them. I know they've got bi-xenons. And on the interior, there was quite a few of the options. I'm sorry, Tim, if I haven't done any research. There's probably a lot more to it than I think. Obviously, this is as well, the glowing Lexus in the stainless steel. I do like that. It's not too in your face, but it's just the nice smell in here. It's like proper leather. You just know when it's real leather to fake leather, and that's got that lovely smell. But it's just the usual quality you get inside of these things. To be honest, I would have to check the weights and stuff, but this would be like one of these would probably be a good tow car. I'll have to have a look on the VIN plate when I get 2 minutes and have a check. But yeah, this has got all, like, obviously the heated seats, the ventilated seats, you know, of the time, the readout display for the battery, all sorts really. It's just a nice, really, I will say, very, very comfortable car to drive. I'm not sure if it's got, I don't know, it's got all the sunroof and everything, but yeah, definitely. Oh, it's got the power tailgate as well, I believe. Let's just try it. I think it has. Or has it not? Can't remember. No. I'm sure these had these on some of them. But yeah, that's a huge boot, that, actually, saying that. I was thinking, would a dog cage fit in the back of there? Yes, I think it would. But I thought this did. Oh, it does. I knew it did. I thought I was cracking up for a minute there. I think it's just probably because the key's in that it didn't. So there you go. I think there are a few. There will be more, obviously, with it being the limited edition. But all this is in for, anyways, is MOT. Usual, it's a well-looked-after car, so it didn't need much, just this back brake here. The pads and the sliders were a bit tight, so I freed that off. So that's sorted for him. Bar that, not a great deal to speak about. Tim does a lot of his own kind of like bits and bobs to it, servicing and stuff, so we know that it's spot on. I'm sure that's part of probably the limited edition as well. This is when Toyota started doing it as well, with like the blue tinge to the badge on the hybrids, so you know that they're a hybrid. I wonder if it's like that at the front. I don't know if I knew there was something about blue. No, it's just a standard badge, but that must be what it was. There'll be other things with the limited on them. But yeah, nice car. Do genuinely like them. I still think they look nice to this day. They haven't really aged too badly. In fact, they've aged well. What shall I start with? Right, this C3, I think she's coming to the end of her days, unfortunately. It's getting a bit hard up, as you can see. But this lady lives in a place called Upham, and they have like a ford, like a water stream you've got to drive through. Obviously, once in a while it doesn't do no harm to your car, but when it's every day, day in, day out through muddy tracks and stuff, it really hammers them. So this had a bit welding done on this sill a few years ago. It's had damage done to it. But we've checked it over. It's not actually too bad underneath. It's not too bad, but unfortunately, there's a major issue with the steering. In fact, I'll show you. I'll get the key in the sill at this side. But the only thing is, it's the 1400 DV4 engine. Like the DV6 I keep talking about, more or less the same engine. So it's only £20 or £30 a year road tax. It'd be a shame to scrap it if it's just... But there's a lad who I know, I'll just call him Steve. I'll not mention anything else. He says there's some kind of trick you can do. He used to work for Citroën with the steering rack, because they're electronic. You can adjust a screw or something. We're going to have a little look at it. If not, I'm going to send it up to him when he has time, or he can come here and have a look at it and see what he thinks. But I will show you that when I get the keys in a moment. This thing I want to go through, a Vauxhall Combo. Forget the fact that it's a Vauxhall. It's basically a Citroën Berlingo Peugeot partner with a Vauxhall badge on. Why? Because around about this era-ish, 2018-19, Citroën and Peugeot took over Vauxhall. So just be very careful what you're buying from Vauxhall now. Because it isn't Vauxhall, it's just all Citroën Peugeot. Not bad. In particular, this. Yeah, I think it'd be ready for us to start slagging this vehicle off now. Here we go. Heap of rubbish, don't buy it, crap, all the rest of it. No, actually, buy one. Absolutely fantastic. Like, for instance, over there, the Volkswagen Transporter, the little version of that, the Caddy. These are 10 times better than a Caddy. Just people don't want the badge. I'm telling you what, these are a much, much better little van. Forget the fact that it's an MPV, van or car. Buy one of these all day long, if they've been looked after, though. Far more reliable than the VAG stuff. And honestly speaking, if I had some money to spend on a newer vehicle, yeah, they're not the most stylish thing on the road, but I am telling you what, this thing doesn't half pack a punch for its size when it comes to spec. And you'll be saying, Dan, it's got wheel trims on. Yeah, I know it's got wheel trims. Dan, it's got all black bumper trim. Yeah, doesn't look like much spec, does it? It just looks like a normal Berlingo combo, whatever you want to call it. But no, we'll have a look inside. Yeah, it has got wheel trims. But look at all these dual sensors, two right next to each other, blind spot ones. It's the combo life as well. And I'll just show you a few little bits on this which really has amazed me. Anyways, back to the chassis of it. Cracking little chassis, hardly ever go wrong. They don't rot. The DV, I think this is the DV5 in this one. This is the 1500. I could be wrong, but the DV5 is far better than the DV6. But even the later DV6s, when they're looked after, not a bother. I would own one, no problem, if I knew it had been looked after. But we'll get into, first of all, we'll do the basics on this thing. Again, sliding doors for car parks. Great. Fantastic. All that flat floor space. 5 seats. Loads of space again. Headroom. To be quite honest, you could actually stand up in there. To be honest, you really actually could stand up inside of there, just about. If you're not like 6 foot. And even these back windows open as well. They pop out. And this is the main thing for me with these. Look at the size of that. Massive. Loads of headroom. Loads of space. Nice square boxy size. And you know what I hate about cars, which I go on and on about? All this, just nice plastic. No epoxy carpets. Why do we need carpets in boots for? On the floor, maybe, yeah, fair enough, then you can put a mat down. But carpets in this area, I never understand that. So just nice, flat, plastic, easy wipe down, no problem. Bit of a weird parcel shelf, kinda. It doesn't go up with the boot, so that could be better. But on this design of car, they just I'm not going to faff with it, but it will fold and push back and everything. But yeah, you even look up there, man, you've got storage above the driver at the front. I love that. Loads of space in the roof, honestly. I mean, even to the point of this, if it's raining, if it's pouring a rain, and you're in the back or you're having a picnic, when that's up, you can sit under here, have your picnic, just sit, have 5 minutes, and you're totally in the shade, if you want shade, or protected from the elements. Perfect little vehicles, these. I mean, even there, look, just to show you, it's got the reversing camera on. But mainly when we get inside, it's just like absolutely packed. Yeah, the back windows aren't electric. They don't need to be. They just pop out ones. It's all they're required to be. But when you sit in here, it's really astounding. I'm going to start it up. Mainly because it's boiling hot. 29 degrees. I thought it was getting warm. Right. Anyways, now we're in here. I'm just going to move out of the sun a bit. Just so we can get a bit better look. Right. That's better there. Right. Turn the parking sensors off. Right. So, first of all, you've got all this big touchscreen display. Nice and easy to use. It does everything you need it to do. But the main thing is you've got your basic controls down here. Climate control, single zone, because dual zone, waste of time. It's all you need. Single zone, aircon, nice manual buttons for everything, and a one for the fan. Perfect. Couldn't ask for any better. Lock button, hazard warning lights, and you've got all this stuff here. You're going through the vehicle, parking sensors, blind spot. Yep, it has blind spot monitoring. I don't know if you can just see that on the mirror there. Top corner, take a little orange light. In fact, I'll turn the engine off. Back on again. See the little orange light flashing? Blind spot monitoring. Come on, that's like top end stuff. Obviously on both mirrors. Advanced, really advanced lane keeping system. It's got everything you could possibly want. Automatic main beam. That's like a top end stuff. Onto the steering wheel. I know some Corsas and stuff have this. A heated steering wheel. Heated steering wheel. But I don't think it's got heated seats, which is a bit odd. I don't quite understand that. So it's got a heated steering wheel. Unless I'm cracking up. Let's have a look. I could be wrong. It looks like there should be a switch there. It's the first vehicle I've ever come across with heated steering wheel, but not heated seats. Oh well, so what? Keeps your hands warm in the winter. So there we go, heated steering wheel, cruise control, speed limiter. I don't know what that one is. That must be some kind of, I doubt it'll have radar cruise control. But my dad was just telling us something there, my mind's went off. The auto dip dim mirror, rain sensing wipers, light sensing lights. Has this one got a heated windscreen? No, it hasn't got the heated windscreen. But it's got everything you need on here. Like, you know, vehicle settings, headlights, safety, active safety brake, automatic braking if somebody runs out in front of you. It's just got the full works, you know, including probably, I would imagine, sat-nav. Yeah, full-on sat-nav and everything, so nice, just a nice place to be. You know what I mean? It's, you know, front fog lights, you've got all the stop-start, electric folding mirrors. It's got some spec on this little van, it really has. All that storage in there. So yeah, I'll just swing that round. Would I have one of these? Most definitely, yes, I would. And I wouldn't call these things either. I think they're a fantastic little vehicle. So, I'm going to pause this now, get this into the garage. This is in for MOT and service. I'll have a quick look through the book to see what we did last year and look on the miles. Because I'm not into ripping people off. I only do what is required, where most places will probably just do a full service and ask no questions. The lady's told us, just do a full service. But I don't think she's done the miles. If it's had something told us it had the full whack last year, and I don't think it needs it this year. But I'll have a look what was done, see what the miles are now, and we'll do a bit comparison. I'm going to stop now, and I'll show you around the Transporter and show you the better fault with that C3 when I've got this in the garage. So I'll quickly show you with this, in case anybody says, oh, it isn't a Citroen or whatever. There's your Citroen, there's your Peugeot, and do you want to know what else is there? There's your Ford Motor Company right there, because obviously, like I keep telling you, all this is used in the Fords. This one's a bit different. The fuel filter must be underneath somewhere, so I'll have a look for that. The air filter, as I've had a check, it's been a while since these have been changed, so we'll do the air filter. Like I've said, with all these DV engines, the filters are in stupid places, so you've got to take all this network of pipes off, which is really sad. I don't know why they haven't getting on top of that over the 20 years now, nearly, this engine's been in development. A little bit of carpet there off it. I forgot to mention as well, it does have the camera up there for the speed signs, so it comes up on the dashboard telling you what the speed limit is. Quick look around this Transporter. This is in for a stop-start fault. Also, it keeps telling them that there's a problem with the oil level, but I think it's because it's too high. I'll have a recheck of that. It might just need a bit drained out. And what else was there? I think that was it. Obviously, I think the engine management light is on and saying about a charge fault, so that's to be looked at with this. It'll probably not want to do it. In fact, I need to move this anyways, so we'll start it up, and you'll see I'll have to have the door shut. So I start it up. Of course, you need to press the... But anyways, the engine management light's on. I'll show you this a bit later on. I'm just going to plug the scanner on. See, oil sensor, please visit workshop. Again, I'm just going to have to do some research on this, because I find it hard to believe that such a new vehicle has an oil sensor fault in the sump. There's a stop-start fault. There's an engine management light on. Maybe there's some kind of issue with wiring or something like that. So I'll need to look into that a bit further on. But as for this, I just wanted to show you with this little Citroen here, what the main fault of it is, what it's just recently developed is, I'll show you. So we'll just open the window, make sure it's out of gear, and we'll start it up. As you can see, immediately it decides it wants full white lock. So if you look at this, there's the wheel. I'll let go of it. It just does a full white lock. So you put it back to the straight driving position. In fact, I'll put it to the straight driving position and then switch the car off, so it'll hold itself in that position there now. Driving along straight. Start the engine up, wheel turns, just likes to be at full white lock all the time. Far from ideal, and it most certainly can't go through an MOT like that. So we're going to have a little look into whatever's going on with the electronic steering rack, because these are like, basically there's an electric motor in the steering column, and there's some kind of a little circuit board on the steering rack which you can adjust a screw. We're going to have a look at it. I personally think it'll be a little bit more... putting it to somebody who's done it before, I think it's going to be quite a complex job to just faff about with for the first time. Probably end up making the balls up. You know, if you've worked at Citroen, you've done loads of these before, you'll know what you're doing. But we haven't dealt with these before in that way, anyways. So we'll leave that here. I'm going to credit on, get that combo serviced. We'll have a quick look at that, and if I find anything with the Transporter, I'll let you know. But I am trying to keep things as short as possible this week, as my internet is still off at home, and it was a nightmare getting this uploaded last week, because I had to use my data on my phone. So nightmare. We're having to use the data on my phones for everything. All of the kids' TVs, having to connect that iPad, the tablets up to them every single night. We're sitting watching telly. We've got to have our phones as hotspots, and I'm really starting to run out of data now. So fingers crossed our broadband comes back on soon. So fingers crossed. No, it's not a necessity, but like I said, we don't have an aerial or a sky dish, so all of our telly is through the internet. So not good times. So hopefully that gets sorted. I'll catch you soon when I get underway with these jobs and see what's up with the Transporter. Right, bit of an update. We've got the Transporter in. I'm going to start on that now. I'm just going to simply put the scanner on, and I'm just letting it settle. When I check the oil while it's on the level to check it's not too high, and then go from there, really see what codes we're getting up. I'm going to do a test. Remember these EFB Plus basically an electrolyte flooded battery. I do want to do a stop-start battery, basically. I'm going to do a test on that first, just to check it's running okay. Because with it being a camper van, it's got like a dual system in, so I don't know if it's maybe overstressed the battery. Who knows? And with this oil level sensor, it's hard to say whether it's part of maybe faults with the battery and the stop-start system, or genuinely the sensor inside the sump. Who knows? But first up, I want to just check the level on it. C3, like I've mentioned, this has all been pre-checked a couple of weeks ago for an MOT, and it's okay. Like I said, it was a little bit tappy around the sills and stuff, but it's been welded. And we're just going to, I don't know if you can see that there, we're just going to coat it a bit, solid as anything. It's no problem, it just tidy it up a bit. There's an exhaust clamp, and as you've seen with the steering, now when I start it up, like you've watched before previously, and that's with the weight off. It would normally be worse like that. Now, when you turn it, it's not going too far like it used to. In fact, it's not going any. Before, as you've seen, as soon as I let go, it would wind itself back round. Now, that is fixed. But, I'm not going to show you how. And there's a simple reason why, is I do a lot on here for free, as you know. I don't really get paid huge amounts for doing this. And there's some things, as you all know in your own trades, you give some things away to help people. I'll show you like the simple things and the bits I feel appropriate. Other things, we got told this off somebody else, which we knew absolutely nothing about. And I don't really think it's fair to... I've given you a brief idea of what you have to do, but not in depth. I don't really think it's fair to then give away that secret out to thousands of people, which, let's face it, there's a lot of people now. Just thought I would say to you all as well, totally separate note here, I've just clicked over 16k subscribers. Thank you very much to each and every one of you who do watch this. Much appreciated. I should have said that at the beginning of the video. To be honest, it totally lapsed my mind. It's been that busy this morning. So yeah, I'm sure you can understand. I'm sure you guys all have your own trades, and it's the old saying, trade secrets, isn't it? I'm not going to tell everybody that, so they can steal them ideas and do things themselves. I'm pretty sure it'll be all over the internet anyways. But since we got told off somebody else in the trade, I don't think it's fair for me to claim victory and glory and get loads of views if I put it out there, because it would save a lot of these cars from being written off. I don't really think it's fair. If you're genuine, you do have one of these cars and you do want to know how, I'm perfectly happy to tell you, but I don't think it's fair to put it across the whole of the internet. So that's it for now. I've said I'm trying to keep these at a reasonable level for length, because I've got a feeling not good news for this Friday coming. I don't think we're going to have our broadband back, and I'm seriously low on my data now, and it still doesn't renew for another 8 days. So typical. Any other time I've got shitloads of data left over to spare every month, but one time we need it, I ain't got it. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to get on with the transporter. If I find anything of interest, I'll let you know. Thought I'd do something a bit different. Bit of an update on the C3 and the little perks of the job. So first up, I will say, this car was an absolute nightmare to drive with the steering. Done my little fix, and it drives spot on. Do you know what it is? I'm going to go as far to say I quite like these. Don't like the way they look whatsoever. But a diesel, one of these, a 1400 diesel, £20 a year tax, I'm telling you, it pulls really well. And it'll probably be getting crazy miles to the gallon, like 60, 70 miles to the gallon all day long. But yeah, pleased to announce, job done, fixed. It's just going to come in a few weeks' time. Front discs and pads. We've done the clamp on the exhaust, some tyres it needs, and it's ready for its MOT. So happy days. Why I'm down here, beautiful area, is we're dropping it off to the old lady's house, because we're in the middle of nowhere, as you can see. I just thought we'd have a little walk, just to see some of the perks of the job, and I'm getting paid to do this. So obviously, you'll all see that, a Ford, and in the winter, this is quite fun. I'll just walk up to it first. This in the winter is, well, not even in the winter, we just haven't had much rain lately. This is absolutely raging. Usually you've got all your telltales on there to see how deep it is, but today, it's the first time I don't come down here that often, that I've been able to walk across here. Never been able to do that before. I bet you there'll be some wheel trims and pieces of cargo down there. I love the sign when you get further up there, somewhere up here this way, it says test your brakes. But yeah, just thought I would add that little bit in. I think it's about 4:15 now, so my dad's meeting us at this lady's house. And we're going to head back to the garage. Might be picking up the Jeep, like I've mentioned. I've had the Jeep in storage. Going to pick that back up. Going to do a few jobs to that through the week. The transporter, I'm going to send that in for warranty because he's got a few warranty work bits to do on it. And while it's in, I'm sure there was some issues. I'm sure there was some issues about those oil temperature and sender units. So he'll try Volkswagen first for the warranty work he's got anyways for free. Then he'll move on to that. Apart from that, it's just not worth getting involved unless we actually send him to an auto electrician's or just opt to change the sensor. There's not really that much you can do in the way of testing, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm just going to enjoy my walk back up to the car, sit in the shade because it's a boiling hot day, and just relax until I get a call saying that he's at the house, and then we'll get back. Job done. Just thought I would add that bit in there, guys. Let us know if you want to see these little bits here and there in between just being at the garage, because it is part of my job. Obviously, it's a service we provide, especially for the elderly and like this lady who lives in the middle of nowhere. It's just a little service we provide. Sorry, a car came there. So yeah, it's just nice to add them bits in. Genuinely, there's no bus services run around here, and it's just a nightmare for them. So, you know, she's a well-paying customer, very polite. Yeah, she's very polite, nothing's a bother, and it's nice just to go that extra mile for people. So there we go. Leave you. I would actually record going through here, but I'll probably end off slipping like I nearly did before and end off arse into the river. But yeah, I'll catch you on Wednesday's vlog. Hello, welcome back to Wednesday's vlog. What's turned out to be quite a warm week, so I didn't expect it. I hadn't been looking at the weather forecast, but I think we're going to be in for another so-called heat wave. I'll be waiting for the red weather warnings to come next. So what's in today? I'll have a look around the corner. Right, I forgot about these two. I'll quickly go through these. Citroen C3. This is like the one that you seen yesterday, like the newer version. Quite a nice spec one, I think. It's the executive, I think. Is it or exclusive or something? Sure, I've seen something on one of the doors before. It's got like the huge windscreen that comes all the way up to here with a nice chrome piece. You know, Citroen do have some good parts of their style, you know. It is. Obviously, it's had a bit of a bump down here, but this is in for MOT anyways. I'll show you better when that's on the lift. This is a family member's car. You've seen this before. This is in for MOT. It's going to have to have a good check over. We'll see what's up with that, if there's anything. Getting rare these now. I am fond of an Astra Mark IV, especially the SRI, and especially my favourite engine, the 2 litre DTI. Cracking engines they are. So that's that. Quickly back to me. What we've got in here, this Skoda wasn't booked in, but she's a cracking customer, the lady, and it was coming up with all sorts of problems with the like DPF problems. It was coming up with kept cutting out and everything. So I plugged the code reader in, which I'll show you if it's still on, if it doesn't spit off. What it was stating, there we go, couldn't have asked for any better there. So what we've got, cylinder 3 internal pressure sensor signal implausible, cylinder 1 glow plug off, and also a fuel injector group A supply voltage and obviously supply vape voltage, but those two last codes you can disregard them because they're in conjunction with these. Now, with modern diesels, you need all the glow plugs to be working in order for them to carry out a regen. If they don't, they won't do regens. So that explains the fault of why it's not been regenning properly. But number 3, the first code, an internal pressure sensor. Now, when they detect wrong readings, they basically shut the engine down, which is what the lady has been describing as the fault. The car's just been completely lost in power and cutting out. We'll switch this off, and I'll show you why and what's been going on. Now, with these, they're a bit awkward to get into the glow plugs. Here, 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 and here. So obviously the biggest problem with these is, like any car, getting them out, because they've got like an aluminium like piece which goes in, which is never a good idea. So number 1 glow plug, which is this one, we know that'll be causing regen issues and stuff like that, but not necessarily, would never cause a running fault. But in the infinite wisdom now with modern diesels, I mean, this one, I suppose, isn't too bad because it's got 1, but most of the Vauxhalls now, with the Fiat engines in, they have 4 of these on. Now, everybody will recognise these. 3 standard glow plugs. Not a lot of money, just, as you all know, a pain in the arse. If they snap into here, into the head, you're in big trouble. You've either got to get a specialist in to remove them, or worst case scenario, you've got to take the head off. Top tip with them, make sure the engine is absolutely scorching hot as it can be. You know, like, so the cooling fans are kicking in and everything. Use some kind of good release stuff. I actually just used this because we had it sitting around, plus gas. I don't know if this just wasn't a bad one to get out, or that stuff genuinely worked. So this will all come out, no problem. So now we can see, I just wanted to show you how you can tell, just with your eyes, without doing any fancy tests, if things are working. So you can see these here. This was number 1, this was number 2, number 3 is over there, and that's number 4. So that was 1, which was, you've seen the fault code for. There actually wasn't a fault code for number 2 or number 4, but what the fault codes were for number 3 not working, and number 1. And you can see, if you look at that, and that, all these are matching, you see, but this one isn't, and you can tell that cylinder 1 glow plug has not been working. I have got a very simple way I can test these. You just need a battery and a couple of wires just to test to see if they're working, or you can just use a voltmeter. But there's no point, because with this, in this case, they've all come out okay, and I've said to the lady, basically, there's no point in changing 2. You may as well change the whole lot, and you can forget about them. So you can tell straight away number 1 hasn't been working. Number 2, on the other hand, has been working, but you can tell there's been some kind of water and corrosion going on there. I'm really surprised that one come out, so happy days. And number 4, again, we're just changing that one as a precaution, because again, it's getting a bit rough. But this is what I want to talk to you about. Number 3, this here is got it's like a hall sensor, it's like a pressure sensor on the top of them. So it's your glow plug, which in fairness, the glow plug itself is working. It didn't state it wasn't. It was stating there was a problem with this pressure sensor. And if this pressure sensor stops working or starts being problematic, it will cut in power to the engine. It'll actually cut the engine out, because this is basically to detect like catastrophic issues with the engine. I've never known anything as ridiculous as having it as part of a glow plug. They could have just put it in as a separate sensor, but luckily this come out. But the biggest issue with this is they're your average sort of price. I don't know, I think they're about 20, 25 quid each-ish, them ones. But this is about touching nearly £150 for this. I need to double check the prices, because I think they're a bit expensive. But, you know, you remember the Vauxhalls have 4 of these, all 4 of these. That's a lot of money. So yeah, there's one I just thought I would show you. We'll get the new ones put in when they're delivered. I'll probably show you them when they come as the new ones, put them in, clear the codes, and hopefully that's it. If not, it's something a lot more in depth, but as I've showed you, the codes are stating the pressure sensor on cylinder 3, and obviously glow plug cylinder 1, and that's noticeably not working. So that's that. Got this in a C3 Aircross or something like that. It's basically the same car as what's outside, just jacked up a bit, bigger springs. So going to get the tyre sort, there's a nail in there and some nasty cracking. Obviously underneath, it's got all the, you know, the usual rusty clamps and stuff. But yeah, I'll show you this one a bit later, because it's getting picked up. I'll show you when it gets back. Because the Dave's come from Stakeford Tyres to pick it up. And I'll quickly show you what's come. Obviously, it's Baru, Borg Warner, but these are exactly what you would get from VW at God knows what price. I wouldn't even like to guess what, TPS, Skoda, Audi, all the usual brands. I've got the NGK ones for the 3 standard ones, which are just like what everybody else will have seen. The standard glow plug. And obviously the one here, I don't know how well this will focus in, but the new one's the one with the cover in the top. You can see that exactly the same parts is what was fitted from new, even down to the little barcode thing at the top there, on there. Obviously it says Baru on the old one. On the new one, and on this one it's Borg one. I'll try to get it up under there if you can just see it. So yeah, exactly the same units as what you would get from the dealer at God knows what price. So I'm going to do with these, I've got this silicone grease here. I'm just going to pop a little bit of that into the end of each one of these connectors, so that so it can pop on easier, and if they ever need to come off, they come off a bit easier. And I'm going to use some high temperature grease just on the threads, so that if they ever need to come out again, it makes all the difference. People can say all the crap they want about this, that and the other, and you should and you shouldn't. It works. Simple as that. The only ones I've come across that snap are the ones that haven't had nothing on, or any nut and bolt of an engine or body. The ones that are greased up work, and that's what I would say the majority of mechanics stick by. So we're going to stick these in, clear the codes, start it up, I might have to take it for a quick run because it might need to do a regen, because it won't have done a one due to these. I know definitely these things, PSA, these engines, the DV6 is 100%, if the glow plug isn't working, even just one of them, they will not do a regen. So just to be safe with this one, I think I'm going to put a fuel additive in for her, put these new glow plugs in and take it out and give it a regen, just so I know it's right, because there's no point in giving it back to a customer if you've done half the job. So we'll put these in, wipe the codes, and she's going to go straight out down the road and it'll start doing a regen, because she's reported that when she stops it, the fan's roaring away. All that is a sign of a failed regen, because the fan has to stop wanting to cool everything off. So we'll get all this put back in, codes wiped. While the scanner's plugged in, I'll take it out for a drive. Obviously, with that, I'll be able to tell if it's regenning or not due to the exhaust gas temperatures. So that's that. We'll get on and do this. I just thought I'd show you this one, because obviously Dave from Stake 4 Tyres has took the other one away. But it's the same car. There's nothing more to show you on the other one, apart from it's the 1.2 turbocharged petrol engine, which I've warned everybody about. Be very, very careful with that. This is either the DV6 or DV5, the 16 HDI or the 15. I'm not sure on this yet. Probably the DV6. I would imagine, because judging by the exhaust, I don't actually think this has got a cat on it, a DPF on it, due to the fact it's as black as you like. So this must have been one of the very, 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 on a 2010, late 2010, one of these made without a DPF, which if that's the case, I would highly recommend it, if you so wish that you want one of these. I'd be surprised. I'm going to have a look now, actually. I can't. Yeah, it has got some kind of a DPF, it's just not running very well, so we'll have to just check. It'll pass the emissions on diesels. It doesn't, honestly, unless they're absolutely pluming out smoke, they'll be fine, but that's not the sign of a healthy DPF on this. It may need a little bit of regenning or cleaner or something into it. So yeah, it's all good really. Just the usual sit-rins underneath, and they usually look a lot worse than they are. I must admit, they don't tend to rot too bad. Yeah, so they usually look bad underneath, but they're usually rather solid. I mean, the key with these is to coat them from new, and you won't have too much problems. But huge springs on them, that's the whole thing with these C3s. The worst job on these by a country mile is the front springs, because they are absolutely massive, and the bottom point of the shocker casings don't sit level, so you can't use these like this. We got this off a friend purely because it's a flat bottom to put the shocker on, and they sit at an angle. So yeah, they're a nightmare, this week. To be honest, I'm not going to lie, on all Citroens, even dating back to the ZX that I've got, the front springs on most Citroens and Peugeots and the 406s, that are just horrible, horrible jobs to do. So that's just the nature of if you're buying one of these. But yeah, that's it really. I mean, there's nothing more to show on this one. There's nothing more to show on the other one, because it's exactly the same car. Speaking of which, it's just been dropped off with new tyres on. I'll just show you it just briefly. But you see up on the lift, it's just had 4 new tyres on. I'm not really going to go into much depth apart from it. Let's see if it's written on the back. It has got a name. I just don't pay interest in things that I'm not interested in. It's just C3 Aircross, but they call it something like the... Oh, they've got a fancy name. I'll tell you what, instead of being lazy, I'll pop the bonnet and it'll be written on top of the engine, probably. Well, there's your answer. No, it's not written on top of the engine. Usually, I think this will be the 3-cylinder 1.2 turbo. If it's the 1600 one, happy days. I was doubting myself there, but it is the 3-cylinder one. To be very careful, be very, very careful with these engines, because they have what you call a wet belt in them, which I'll show you now. And you see just to the corner there, I'll use my finger to try and point. That is the belt there, the rubber belt, which runs in the oil. See the teeth to it? Right there, where my finger is there. So you've got a nice rubber belt that runs in oil. Fantastic idea that, isn't it, guys? It's absolutely fantastic. So there you go. That's why I'm saying, make sure you use the right oil, for God's sake. Make sure you do not let it run low. Make sure you pre-fill the oil filter before starting it up, and for God's sake, make sure you've got a good warranty, because even if nothing necessarily goes wrong with it, these belts, I think, don't quote us, I think it's 100,000 mile or 10 year. So when you come to buy these things second hand in years to come, big jobs involved, big money involved. It's not just like a regular timing belt. So just be careful with that. So yeah, we'll leave that one here today. We'll get them. We'll get the glow plugs, put it to the Skoda. I'm going to take it for a bit of a test drive, get some regens done. And I might add in a little bit of a break, a little bit of a different video somewhere, depending on how the day goes. Maybe get the Jeep back later on. Don't necessarily need to record that. I don't think me mate would want us to record in his yard. I would like to, but there's a few reasons why I don't want to do that either, because that's where I'm going to be storing my caravan over the winter, and it's not really somewhere I want to be promoting to where things are parked. But if I do go out and about today, I will be going on a test drive. If I stop anywhere of interest or anywhere of any importance, I'll pull over. Let us know. Did you enjoy seeing that bit yesterday when I was at the Ford? Not the car Ford, the Stream Ford. It's part of my day. Like I say, I've got to go out in this Skoda to test drive it. I will have to pull over and stop somewhere in it once it's done a regen to check the figures. And while I'm out somewhere, I may decide to grab a coffee or some bite to eat or something like that. Obviously with customers' permission. All my customers are fine. When you're up and down dual carriageway doing regens anyway, just to pull over and stop with a coffee, like Starbucks, whatever, they don't mind. You know, obviously I treat my customers' cars like my own. So for example, I won't squeeze between two cars. I'll purposely park in the back corner of the car park, away from every other car, and walk to the shop, because I'm not lazy. I walk to work every day anyways, and I don't tend to find there's any point in squeezing cars into busy areas when there's plenty of parking elsewhere. But we'll see, because I don't think that the lady who's owns this car, she was beginning to really panic, so I think she'll just be damn over the moon when I give her a phone call in a few hours and let her know that all the glow plugs have come out okay, and fingers crossed if this goes well, they all go in okay. I think she's going to be a happy bunny. So and on the way back from the test drive, if all goes well, probably go and pick her up and bring her back to the garage to save her walking back. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Hello and welcome back out on a test drive with this Skoda. Happy to report, completely problem free. Sorry guys, I have just switched this off because I've just reread the codes. It all has to show you was no codes present. Happy days. Also on the dash, no engine light. In reports from the customer, was car cutting out and all the rest of it. I've done a 10-mile test drive on it. Runs absolutely faultless. So that's it. Saved her a lot of money. Please, them glow plugs come out with no fault. And obviously on this 10-mile test drive I've done a forced regen on it. Not a static regen. I don't like doing those. I like doing them out on the road, and it doesn't overheat the engine at all. So that's nicely done. The soot levels of the DPF have dropped to the right tolerances. So happy days, happy customer. And en route from the designated test drive route is Starbucks. So stopping here. I don't usually recommend Starbucks. I prefer little locally run coffee shops, as Chris, my pal, he runs a coffee shop in Middlesbrough, will agree. But unfortunately this is on the designated route, so I'm stopping here because obviously at the end of the day, I'm in a customer's car. The lady who owns it wouldn't mind at all if I did divulge on my route to go somewhere, but out of respect I just don't, because in case anybody doesn't realise, but this is a brand new service station that's just been built on the A19, or what we know as the Spine Road here. That's the new big and roundabout, North Seaton roundabout there. So and as part of what I want to do as well, I want to let this car stand for at least 10 minutes off. Then when I come to restart it, it basically does like what you call another key cycle. And if there is any codes going to come up, they'll come up then, because directly from here, I'm going to the lady's house, and then she's going to run me back to the garage. So again, you might say, oh, why you get the Starbucks when you're in somebody's car kind of thing, but it's on the designated driving route, and as part of the test drive isn't actually driving. The car needs to be driven, stopped, restarted, and then driven again. So it's been driven at 60 mile an hour to do the regens here. Then from here onwards it's going to be town driving, 30 mile an hour, stop start. And again, one of the issues was the stop start system wasn't working due to the engine management fault, which is now working absolutely perfect. It just did it when I was in traffic at the roundabout. So yeah, I'm not going to sit and drink coffee in somebody's car again. It's absolutely boiling hot today, and Starbucks has great, that's one thing I will say, good air conditioning. So I'm going to have myself 10 minutes, have a coffee, I'm going to contact this lady and let her know the good news that her car's fixed and I'm on my way, potentially. Hopefully nothing happens through the town. And, I might come back in. I've got a car to look at to decide whether or not we'll scrap it or not. I'll have to go back to the garage and then come back to it. So I'll come back to you when I'm at the car, if I can. If the old lady's standing over the top of us, I probably won't be able to. And I'm decided I'm just going to get the Jeep tomorrow. Too much has gone on today. Oh, a big thank you again. I forgot your name. One of my viewers, you've just been to my garage, you'll know who you are. I forgot your name, sorry mate. I'm terrible with names, but he's just bought a Jaguar. Thanks again, just through my channel. He's bought his Jaguar X-Type doors, which I've just checked over underneath, the 59 plate one. Really good condition, actually, one of the best I've seen, and it's a beautiful the 2-litre TDC i4 engine with the automatic gearbox. Cracking car he's got. He's wanting us to have a quick look at it, which I did, and he's got that booked in a couple of weeks to be Landguard protected underneath. So thank you again. You come all the way from Sunderland to my place, which is a fair hike, just so I could look at it, because unfortunately with some jobs, like them Wax Island jobs, I need to assess them before I commit, and I wouldn't want to waste his time coming, getting his hopes up, and then I say, look mate, it's too bad underneath to do. So thank you very much. Again, sorry for forgetting your name, but you'll know who you are because you watch my channel. Much appreciate you coming over, and yes, bringing your son along as well. I think that's who he was, your son. So thanks very much, and I'll catch you soon, probably when I have a look at this. I think it's a Suzuki Lanos or something. The clutch has gone on it. I've got to make a decision whether to buy it as a project or scrap it, and I don't think it's a driver, which makes it difficult because I'm going to have to spend money to get it from where it is to my place. I haven't got the time in my place to be ripping gearboxes out, to even take it to somebody to sub it out. How much money it's worth, I don't know, guys, but this will be getting uploaded on Friday, unfortunately, and this is Wednesday, so by the time I make a decision and you are viewing this, the decision may have already been made. So, but we'll see. I'll do it as it is part of my job. It is something I've been asked to do, so I'll get back to you when I do that. I was going to record in Starbucks getting me coffee, but there's people sitting in there. I'm not going to bother. So I'll catch you soon, guys.